Hey everyone. Ever wondered what would happen if Deku explored new bonds? Let's find out. The kids were already in their second year at the academy, after everything that happened in their first year, and with the capture of All for One, things had calmed down a bit. All Might retired as a professional hero, and after everyone saw how he told Izuku that he would be the next number one, many were impressed. There were big discussions about why All Might had done that and why Midoriya was chosen. Some still remember the fight between Bakugo and Izuku and how they were scolded by Aizawa. After those events, everything had calmed down. While Bakugo still didn't talk to Izuku and vice versa, at least Izuku was no longer bothered by Bakugo. Let's say it was a kind of truce between them. After getting their provisional licenses and having worked for a while as interns for Sir Naitai, Izuku and Uraka had grown apart. At first, he didn't notice how his friend avoided him. After a while, he simply stopped caring. They hadn't fought or anything, but Uraka just didn't see him as her friend anymore, or at least that's what he thought. Now they rarely talked, and when they did, it was because they were with Ida in a conversation. In the present, the girls were getting ready to go out. The curfew imposed on them now only applied on class days, from Monday to Thursday, as Fridays were free afternoons for them to do as they pleased, and with their provisional licenses, they were allowed to use their quirks. The girls had agreed to go out to dinner since Yaoyorozu's birthday was approaching, and they had to take advantage of the little free time they were given during their internships with professional hero agencies. On the other hand, our green-haired friend was leaving his room in his hero costume because he had a gala with Sir Naitai tonight, and he would go with him along with Mirio as his assistants. Upon Sir's request, their costumes received a slight modification to look formal for the event. It was an event for reporters and media, where Sir Naitai would give a conference after all the events with the League of Villains and their now former leader, All for One, who was in prison. He would also clarify the situation with his friend All Might, who hadn't been seen in public since his fight with All for One. After being bombarded with questions for about 2 hours, Sir retired from the place, leaving Mirio and Izuku free for the rest of the night and until Monday. Mirio: so, what are you going to do with your free time, buddy? Izuku: not much, I suppose. Oh. I have to buy a gift for a friend for her 17th birthday. Mirio: do you want me to accompany you to look for it? I don't have much to do until tomorrow. Izuku: sure, let's go to a bookstore. I already know what I'm going to buy. The boys were leaving the building where the media gala took place, as it was still relatively early. After a while of walking with Mirio, they found the bookstore Izuku was looking for. Upon entering, a girl greeted him warmly. I'll call the girl attending the bookstore Akemi. Akemi: Deku-kun, good evening. Izuku: good evening, Akemi-chan. Let me introduce you to my senpai, Mirio Tagata. Mirio: nice to meet you, I'm Mirio. Akemi: the girl smiled and returned the greeting. Izuku: Akemi, tell me, did you get them? Akemi: here it is. She took out a book, first edition, with a dedication and signature from the author. Izuku: he hugged her, I knew it, you're the best. Mirio: Izuku, what's that? Izuku: the gift I was talking about. Mirio: ha! Such a special book, is it for your girlfriend? Nudging him with his elbow. Izuku: ha! Blushing, no, she's a good friend. She has helped me a lot, so it's a way to repay the favor. Mirio: so, Miss Akemi and you are dating? Akemi, blushing: no, Deku is my cousin. I made it up. Mirio: I see, in that case, thank you very much for helping him. Akemi: thank you for taking care of him. Both boys said goodbye to Akemi and walked out. They were still wearing their hero costumes, although those costumes were modified to look more formal. The boys were walking until something sounded. Mirio's stomach: grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Izuku, sure, let's go there, pointing to a restaurant, unaware that the girls were inside. Upon arriving at the restaurant, the host greeted them. Apparently, he knew them because he had seen them on TV a couple of times. Host, well. What brings two great heroes here? Mirio, who was more used to this treatment, pleasure, I'm Mirio, and this is my friend Izuku. We're hungry, he said, rubbing his head when his stomach betrayed him. Host, of course, gentlemen, please come in. The boys walked behind the host, at least until they heard someone calling them. Mina, Midoriya. Izuku, turning to look, oh. Ashido-san, girls, good evening. Mina, what are you guys doing here? Mirio, we're hungry. Toru, why don't you sit with us? We're just about to have dinner. Host, gentlemen, would you like to join the ladies? Izuku, but there's no space at your table. Host, don't worry about that. In a few seconds, the waiters had set up another table for the boys to join them. After a while of chatting, the boys were served their dinner, and everyone ate. After dinner, they had dessert, and the conversation continued. A while later, Mirio's phone rang, and he bid farewell to them as Sir was calling him. Izuku thought of accompanying him, but Mirio told him it was just paperwork and that he could handle it. Izuku thanked him and said he would pay for dinner. Mirio accepted and left. Tsuyu, Midoriya-chan, what happened to your costume? Izuku, oh, these are special costumes made by Sir for important events. Mina, wow. Midoriya, it looks good on you. Izuku, thank you. Toru, Midoriya, what's in that bag you're carrying? Izuku, oh, that's a gift. Jiru, oh. Is it from an admirer? Winking at him. Izuku, no, nothing like that, blushing. It's for Yaoyorozu. Yaoyorozu, the girl was lost looking at the green-haired guy because of how good he looked in his formal hero costume. Oh. For me, why for me? Izuku, embarrassed, oh. Well, I found out from someone that your birthday is on Sunday. Everyone looked at Toru, who covered her face to avoid being noticed. Uraka, who had remained on the sidelines of the conversation, I thought none of the boys were supposed to know. Momo, yes, I avoided telling them so they wouldn't try to hug me, especially Mineta. Izuku, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. Jiru, don't worry, Midoriya, you'll never be a bother to Momo. Momo, blushing, Jiru. Jiru, ha ha ha, sorry about that. Mina, can we know what the gift is? Izuku, sure, only if Yaoyorozu wants to open it. He handed her a small box containing the book, as it was a very special edition, and even rarer because the author never signed any of his books. Momo, upon seeing what was inside, she was impressed. Izuku recommended her to open it. The girl started crying with excitement when she saw what was inside. Book dedication, for the heroine Momo Yaoyorozu, Krichi from her friend Kohei Horikoshi and her friend Izuku Midoriya, Deku. Signed Kohei Horikoshi. Momo, happily, she gave Izuku a big hug and a kiss on the cheek, which made our hero blush. Midoriya, how did you get this? How did you get him to sign it? Izuku, he told them a story of how one night while patrolling the city, he saved a girl from a villain and took her to his cousin's bookstore. From there, he became friends with him and his cousin because he was grateful for saving his greatest treasure. Momo, but why? This book is worth a fortune, I can't accept it. Izuku, it doesn't matter how much it's worth. I know that no one will appreciate it more than you. Besides, it's a way of thanking you for all the help you've given me. Uraka, oh. Help, with what? Izuku, well, Yaoyorozu is my closest friend in the whole academy, and she has helped me many times with my studies. Uraka, just made a disgusted face upon hearing that. After a while of continuing the conversation, now everyone was asking Midoriya about his work and his new costume, as well as why that book was so important, so he proceeded to explain that it was Momo's favorite author's first book, leaving everyone surprised that he knew that. Mina, oh. And how do you know that? Izuku, well, he's also my favorite author. Once we were talking, and we started discussing his books, and we both agreed on that. Toru, are you guys dating? Momo, oh. Blushing, no, we're just good friends. Izuku, yeah, Yaoyorozu is right, we're just good friends. Jiru, for now, she whispered. Izuku, well, girls, it's getting late. What do you say we head out? Momo, yes, I'm eager to start reading the book. Izuku, all right, wait for me here for a few minutes. He got up from the table and left. Jiru, wow. He really outdid himself for a simple gift. Mina, hey, Uraka, weren't you supposed to be his best friend? Uraka, I was, as you said. Toru, then what happened? Did you guys have a fight? Uraka, no, we just stopped talking. Izuku, all right, girls, let's head out. Mina, but we haven't paid the bill yet. Izuku, don't worry, I took care of it. Toru, why? Izuku, because everyone here is my friend. The girls walked ahead a bit, and Izuku walked behind them as if escorting them. He hadn't noticed that Uraka was walking beside him. Indeed, he had stopped paying attention to her because she always avoided him. Uraka, Deku-kun, it was the first time in 4 months she called him that. Izuku, barely noticing her presence, "What's up, Uraka-san?" He now always referred to her with that honorific because he no longer had the confidence to just call her Uraka. "Uraka, are you and Momo dating?" Izuku, "Oh. No, we're just good friends." Uraka, "I see, and you don't like her?" Izuku, I don't know, lately I've felt different around her." Uraka, "Can I ask you something? Maybe it's a bit late, but I'd like to know." Uraka, she knew what was coming. "Sure, what's up, Deku?" Izuku, "What did I do to make you angry with me?" Uraka, "I'm not angry with you." Izuku, "Then why did we stop being friends?" Uraka, "No, I just." Izuku, "It's okay, you don't want to talk, I understand, I won't bother you anymore." The girl looked at her friend with pain. Now he was upset with her. She didn't want to give him an explanation. What was she going to say? "I'm in love with you, that's why I stopped talking to you?" That didn't make sense. And then there were the words of the boy. Perhaps he felt something for Momo, and now she wanted to reveal her feelings to him. It was obvious that the boy would reject her. And then there were the rumors that someone from Class 1B had invented, that she and Ida were dating and had betrayed Midoriya's feelings. She and Ida clarified many times that they weren't dating. Everyone in the class knew except Midoriya, who now avoided the two of them. He did this thinking they were a couple and wanted to give them space. He was welcomed by Todoroki's group. Now Deku's friends were Todoroki, Yaoyorozu, and Jiru. He no longer trained with Ida, now he trained with them and sometimes with Kirishima, who seemed to be Izuku's new best friend, leaving Ida aside. It was 7:30 in the morning. Our young hero got up to go training, as he always did. He went down to the kitchen for a light breakfast to endure his tough training. Even though it wasn't as tough as before, he needed more energy to control his power. In the kitchen, he met his friends who were having breakfast. He greeted them politely and went to grab a bowl of cereal. Talking to others didn't seem to bother him anymore. Ever since Uraka stopped talking to him, he had gotten closer to his classmates and now got along well with everyone, well, almost everyone. There were exceptions like Ida, Uraka, and Bakugo. Yaoyorozu was the first to start a conversation with our hero. "Momo, Midoriya." Izuku, "What's up, Yaoyorozu?" "Momo, I wanted to thank you for the book. I really loved the gift." Izuku, "Don't worry about it. It's something I wanted to do for you." Momo, "But why?" Izuku, "Well, there's simply no one better than you to appreciate that book." Momo, "Thank you very much." The other kids joined the conversation, talking about their week, how their training went, their internships, homework, normal stuff for them. Izuku, "Guys, see you later. I'm going to train at the beach." Momo, "Take care, don't push yourself too hard." Izuku, "He cares about me," gives a big smile, "All right." Momo, blushes seeing the smile. Jiru, "Wow. It seems like the vice president is in love." Momo, creates a ribbon and covers Jiru's mouth, "I don't know what you're talking about." Jiru, removes the ribbon, "One of these days you're going to kill me." Izuku was walking to the UA exit to head to the beach. Everything was normal until someone called him. Midoriya-kun. Izuku, "Oh. It's you, Ida. What's up?" Ida, "Can we talk for a moment?" Izuku, "I was just heading to train. Is it urgent?" Ida, "Yes and no. I'd like to clear things up with you." Izuku, while he wasn't angry with Ida, they had stopped talking because Uraka was always with him. "All right, let's sit down." They walked a few seconds until they were on a bench. Uraka was also there. It seemed like Ida and she had everything planned to talk to him. Uraka, "Deku-kun, hi." Izuku, "Uraka-san, good morning. So, what did you want to talk about?" Ida and Uraka explained to Midoriya that everything he had heard about a supposed relationship between them was a lie, that it was all made up by a student from Class 1B, a guy named Monoma, or at least that's what Ida said. Although Midoriya didn't pay much attention to his explanation since 4 months had passed since that rumor had been spread, and they were just now trying to clarify it. Izuku, "If that's all, I'm going to train now." Ida, "Midoriya, what's wrong?" Izuku, "Nothing, they explained everything that happened, or is there more?" He asked with a somewhat annoyed tone on his face. Ida, "So, what do you think? Are we friends again?" Izuku, "You never stopped being my friend. I just wanted to give you guys space, and since you never told me anything, I thought your relationship was true. Uraka thought they had already sorted things out with the boy, but the only one who made an effort to fix things was Ida. She just sat there watching the two boys talk. Uraka, so, everything's settled now, she said with a smile on her face. Izuku, yes, everything's settled with Ida. Well, I'm off. He bids farewell to Ida. I wouldn't want to bother Uraka-san with my presence. Uraka, she felt tears welling up in her throat. The boy left to do his training, to Ida's surprise, as the boy had never behaved like that before. Ida, Uraka, did something happen between you two for Midoriya to act like that? Uraka, she told him how Midoriya had tried to fix things with her, but she remained silent and didn't respond, and apparently the boy had gotten upset. Ida, do you still think that's for the best? Uraka, what do you mean? Ida, do you think pushing aside your feelings will really bring you closer to him? After all, he tried everything to talk to you, and you just pushed him away. I think he's had enough of that. The girl sat on the same bench for hours, thinking about what Ida had said and about Midoriya's attitude toward her. Midoriya wasn't a bad person, but Uraka's attitude had certainly made him think that he was bothering her, so he stopped trying. At the beach, the boy trained as hard as ever to control his power. Even though he had mastered much of it, it was still difficult to maintain it at 100% in battle because he exhausted himself too quickly after reaching the 70% threshold of his power. After all that had happened in the previous months, the boy had gained some fame as he was known as one of the next top 3 at UA, and according to experts, he would be the next number 1, the next symbol of peace. That hadn't gone unnoticed by the people who used to see him training on that beach. While it wasn't uncommon for people to exercise there, having a hero with such a promising future train there sparked a lot of talk. Every time the boy went to train there, a group of girls would come just to watch him train. You could say it was like his fan club or his personal cheering squad. It was very strange for the boy at first, but over time he got used to it as he got to know the girls. Sometimes he would sit and chat with them. The girls brought him gifts, water, food, they made the boy feel good. It was largely thanks to them that the boy stopped being shy, but he still retained his friendly personality and his strong beliefs in following his mentor's footsteps. Back at the academy, the boy passed by the same bench where he had talked with his friends hours earlier. It was strange for him to see Uraka still sitting in the same spot. For a moment, he decided to ignore her, but he wasn't like that. He felt the need to help anyone who needed it, no matter who they were. Izuku, Uraka, what's wrong? Uraka, oh. Deku, everything's fine. Izuku, the boy lets out a big sigh, alright, I'm leaving, I don't want to bother you. Uraka, she thought he missed another chance to fix things. The boy simply left the place to go for a swim and grab something to eat. He entered and greeted his friends in the common room, then continued on his way to the elevator to reach his room. Upon reaching his room, he noticed a photo on his desk, a photo of Ida, Uraka, and him. That photo was taken the first time they went out together. That photo hurt him, seeing his old friends, with whom he no longer spent time, because of the girl they had distanced themselves from. The boy only took that photo, stared at it for a long time. That photo was only his, as it was taken with his cell phone and developed to keep as a memory. It no longer made sense to have it, so he decided to throw it in the trash can next to his desk. The boy went to shower before going down to eat something. Before leaving his room, the boy took the photo to remove the frame it had. He didn't want to have that photo anymore, but he would give it to one of his friends who wanted it, if they still wanted to keep a memory with him. The boy knew he had to close that chapter in his life. Even though his best friend stopped talking to him, and then ignored him and avoided him as much as she could, it hurt the boy, but if that was the girl's decision, he would respect it. Besides, he had to sort out his feelings because it was clear he was feeling something for a certain dark-haired girl in his class. He didn't know if it was something like his old friendship, something like best friends, or if it was really love, but before trying anything, he had to clarify everything with a certain brunette. In the living room. Izuku, guys, have any of you seen Uraka? I need to talk to her. Momo, somewhat jealous, what do you need to talk about? Izuku, I need to give her something that belongs to her. Ida, Midoriya, are you going to try to fix things with her? Momo, tensed upon hearing that, as she knew about the brunette's feelings towards the green-haired boy Izuku, with a deep sigh, no, it's no use anymore. I tried every possible way, I just want to give her something, she'll know what to do with it. Mina, Midoriya. Izuku, what's up, Ashido-san? Mina, Uraka went up to her room a few minutes ago. Izuku, thanks, I'll go talk to her. Just as the boy was about to leave, someone grabbed his arm, to the surprise of the others, as they had never seen the girl act that way. Well, there was someone who wasn't entirely surprised, as she knew how her friend felt about the green-haired boy. Izuku, Yaoyorozu, what's up? Momo, nervously, WW, would you like to read the book with me? Izuku, with a big smile, I'd love to. How about we read it after dinner? Momo, blushing, okay. The boy went to the girl's floor to talk to the one who used to be his friend. Jiru, whispering to Momo, so, reading a book? Momo, huh? Surprised Jiru, still whispering, if you don't take the initiative, someone else will take it away from you. Momo, blushing, no, it's not what you think, I just want to read the book. Jiru, and couldn't you do it alone? Besides, everyone noticed what you did. Momo, nervous, I don't care. The boy had reached the girl's room door, so he decided to knock, but there was no response. He knocked again, but still no response, so he decided to announce who he was. Izuku, Uraka-san, it's Midoriya. Can we talk for a moment? Uraka, Deku, the girl rushed to the door to open it. What's up? Izuku, can we talk for a moment, in private? Uraka, of course, come in. The boy entered the room. Izuku, well, I wanted to give you this. He shows her the photo. It's from the first time the three of us went out together. Do you remember? Uraka, why yes, I remember. Izuku, I was planning to throw it away, it just brings back good memories, and reminds me that we're not friends anymore. You can do whatever you want with it. Uraka, why are you giving it to me? Izuku, well, our friendship ended a long time ago, which hurts me, but it was a decision you made, and I respect it. Uraka, starts crying. Izuku, you know, I was in love with you. I was planning to ask you out after the provisional license exams, but since then, you started avoiding me, and then I found out that you and Ida were dating. That's when my heart felt shattered, but well, whether it was true or not, I couldn't say anything, as you both deserve to be happy. I would have liked to keep our friendship. Uraka, Deku-kun, she said, crying. Izuku, wiping his tears, don't worry, as I said, I'm not angry. But at least I wanted to tell you everything I felt, even though we're not friends anymore, you can count on me for anything you need. After all, we'll be in the same class for 2 more years, so let's try to get along. Izuku gets up to leave Uraka's room. The girl didn't say anything, like every time the boy tried to fix things with her. The boy never knew why she stopped talking to him, and after so long, the reason didn't matter to him anymore. He just wanted to close that chapter in his life. Saying goodbye to someone who is important to you is always very tough, but sometimes it's better to move forward than to keep hurting each other. The boy went to his room, feeling a weight off his shoulders. He felt like he had gotten rid of a heavy burden. He had to overcome that, and pay attention to the person who had caught his attention in recent months. She had been a great help to him, supporting him during the time he was depressed, and he was extremely grateful for that. While he didn't know if they shared mutual feelings, at least he wanted to see her happy. Izuku still felt bad about everything that had happened. He felt strange remembering everything he said. In other circumstances, saying what he said meant he was confessing, something he had often thought about doing but never did out of fear. The boy had really lost his appetite. He decided to go to his room to think about what had happened. Something kept bothering him. He tried to fix things with the girl again, but what did she do? She stayed quiet and just listened, as she always did when he tried to fix things. The girl never told him why, never gave him a reason. She simply distanced herself from him. For a long time, he thought it was because of the supposed relationship she had with Ida. But if there was no relationship, then what happened? Izuku's room. The boy entered his room, feeling really bad about everything that had happened, yet relieved that he had at least clarified things with the girl. He lay down on his bed and put on his headphones, trying to sleep a little. The music player played a trick on him by playing a song that only made him feel more depressed. XXXTentacion, changes. He checked the time on his phone, it wasn't really late, around 4. So he decided to sleep a little. As the songs passed, he got sleepier. Now it was his subconscious's turn to play a heavy trick on him. In his dreams, he saw himself as an adult, around 25 years old, as he could calculate. To his surprise, he was standing at the altar of a church while his best men told him to calm down. Ida and Bakugo, just as he was about to see the person he was about to marry, he only heard a voice in his head saying, "I'm sorry, Deku-kun." He slept for about 4 hours. His stomach prevented him from sleeping longer because he hadn't eaten anything in the evening, so he decided to take a quick shower before going down to eat something. It was around 8:30 at night when the boy went down to the kitchen. To his surprise, there were hardly anyone there, only a few of his classmates. From what he heard, the girls had gone to a party with Mina, and some guys had gone with them. The boy decided to cook something light for dinner. After a few minutes, his dinner was ready. He sat at the table to eat, not expecting to find anyone there. It was an unpleasant surprise to encounter Uraka, who was coming out of the elevator. Apparently, the girl had been crying for a while, as her eyes were red and swollen. For a moment, he wanted to ask her what had happened until he remembered what had happened in the afternoon. He didn't think the conversation they had had would affect the girl so much. He decided to go sit in the living room because he didn't want to be in the same place as the girl. To distract himself a bit, he started watching a movie. He didn't even know what he was watching because he wasn't paying attention. The boy was lost in his thoughts. Apparently, his bad habit of murmuring had disappeared. Now, whenever he was thinking about something, he would close his eyes and put his hands behind his head. He was pulled out of his thoughts when he heard a voice that brightened his day every time he heard it. He felt someone sit next to him on the couch and talk to him. It wasn't until the third time he heard his name that he snapped out of his thoughts. Midoriya. Izuku, startled as someone touched his shoulder. Midori. Izuku, Yaoyorozu, sorry, I was lost in my thoughts. Momo, sorry for bothering you, I called you 3 times and you didn't answer. I thought maybe you were asleep. All of this was observed by a brunette sitting at the table eating her dinner. Izuku, you'll never be a bother. Momo, blushing, thank you. Izuku, it seems like almost all the guys left. I thought you went with the girls. Momo, don't you remember? Izuku, nervous, remember what? Momo, what we talked about this afternoon. Pouts. Izuku, notices and leans closer to her ear to whisper, you look beautiful when you do that. Momo, blushing, just turns her face so he doesn't see her blush, thank you. Izuku, of course, I didn't forget. I also want to read that book with you. Momo, really? With stars in her eyes. Izuku, still looking somewhat depressed. The girl noticed the strange way the boy was acting. She had gotten used to his presence and could tell when something was wrong. Momo, is everything okay? You seem somewhat sad. Izuku, surprised, wow, it seems like I can't hide anything from you anymore. Momo, you know I can't. That's why I'm your best friend. Izuku, and I'm glad that's the case. I owe you a lot for all the help you've given me. Momo, rests on his shoulder, tell me what's bothering you. The guys noticed the presence of a certain brunette, who seemed to have been present throughout their conversation. Izuku, well, nothing important really. How about we go read the book instead? Momo, the girl understands what he meant and who he was referring to, sure, let's go to my room. Izuku offered his hand to her to get up from the couch. Although the girl blushed at that, she wasn't going to miss the opportunity to hold his hand. The guys went hand in hand to the elevator until the boy apologized for not letting go of her hand. They both blushed and didn't say anything until they reached the girl's room. Yaoyorozu's room. The guys entered Yaoyorozu's room and sat on her bed. Well, the boy felt like he was in his own room, so he decided to lie down on the bed. The girl didn't mind that, as she did the same when she went to her friend's room. Momo, so, do you want to talk about what happened? Izuku, with a smile, I really can't hide anything from you. Momo, pouting, I won't force you if you don't want to. Izuku, you know it's not that. Momo, do you still feel something for her? Izuku, feeling something for her would mean I care, and the truth is I no longer care. Momo, the girl looked at him and put her hand on the boy's chest, are you okay? Izuku, yes, and I owe that to you more than anyone else. Back then, we weren't even friends, yet you did everything to help me. He whispered very softly, that's why I fell in love with you. Momo, what did you say? Izuku, do you want to know what happened? Momo, yes, that way I could help you. The girl smiled at him and he blushed. Izuku, he told her everything he felt, how he had fallen in love with her since he first saw her, how happy he was when he saw that they were in the same class, how happy he was when she became his best friend. He told her that he had planned to ask her out after the provisional license exams. The boy told her absolutely everything, he couldn't help but shed a few tears remembering what happened. The girl made him lie on her lap to stop him from crying, and as she stroked his green hair, the boy fell asleep. The girl couldn't help but smile at him, as the boy had told her on some occasions that he felt protected when he was with her. Who would have thought that the next symbol of peace needed someone to protect him from himself? They spent about an hour like that until the boy woke up and saw a raven-haired girl who was asleep. The girl still had her hand in the boy's hair. He just smiled slightly to get up without waking her. The boy whispered in her ear to see if she responded, Momo, Momo-chan, you look beautiful when you sleep. The girl started to blush at what the green-haired boy had said. He noticed and decided to tease her a little. Izuku, I could spend all night watching you. Momo, blushing even more. Izuku, how I wish I had met you first, maybe then. He leaned closer to her ear and whispered, thank you for everything you've done for me. You're the best. And now that you're awake, how about we read the book? Momo, blushing and nervous, you knew I was awake. Izuku, smiling, I know you very well, just by looking at your face, I knew. Momo, pouting, you're silly. She gives him a small punch on the chest. Izuku, pretending, ha. My heart can't take it. He falls onto the bed. Momo, the girl can't help but laugh. Izuku, you're also beautiful when you smile. The guys lay down together to read the book while Izuku held it. Momo was leaning on his shoulder. In reality, they were just doing that, reading a book. That was normal for them. As to their surprise, they had the same tastes in literature. After a while, they grew tired of reading and began to engage in conversation. Izuku asked Momo about her experiences at the gala, how her internships were progressing, her interactions with classmates at the Hero Agency, and what she thought of Sir. Outside, they noticed the onset of rain, which soon escalated into a storm, accompanied by lightning and thunder. Momo, more fearful of thunder than failing a subject, found comfort in Izuku's presence as the late hour approached. Izuku, I think it's getting late. I should head back to my room. Momo, nervously, why yes. Izuku, are you all right? Momo, I'm fine. Another thunderclap prompts her to instinctively hug Izuku for comfort. Izuku, are you afraid of thunder? Momo, of course not. What gave you that idea? Boom. Another thunderclap, causing her to seek solace against his chest. Izuku, would you like me to stay until the storm passes? Momo, with tears welling, would you do that for me? Izuku, lying beside her, whispers, I'd do anything to keep you safe. Momo, resting on his chest, I feel better like this. Izuku, stroking her hair, they remained like this until the rain ceased, and the tranquility returned outside. It was time for Izuku to return to his room. Izuku, Momo-chan, are you awake? Momo, yes, the thunder kept me up. Izuku, I think I should. Momo moved closer, seeking solace in his embrace. They sat side by side, sharing the quiet, finding comfort in each other's presence. Momo, Izuku, will you stay? I don't want to be alone tonight. Izuku, are you sure? What if someone finds out? Momo, we can. They exchanged a meaningful look, understanding each other's concerns without needing to voice them. They held hands, finding strength in their connection. Izuku, I'm sorry, but you're so important to me. Now, it was Momo's turn to smile, a soft expression of gratitude and understanding. Momo, thank you, Izuku. Izuku, lifting her chin, you deserve all the happiness in the world. Would you like to spend some time together tomorrow? Momo, I'd love that. They settled in for the night, Momo leaning against Izuku as they both found peace in each other's company, their friendship growing stronger with each passing moment. Two people can be seen sleeping embraced. One of them is our dear hero who is being used as a pillow by his best friend Yaoyorozu. Izuku was the first to wake up. He blushed a bit when he saw the situation he was in, but also seeing Momo asleep was something that made her look peaceful. This was not unnoticed by the boy who decided to wake his friend up gently. Izuku hugged her tighter and pretended to be asleep to see if Momo woke up. Out of reflex, the girl tightened her hug around Izuku. The boy could feel her warmth against his chest. He couldn't help smiling knowing she was close. Izuku, Momo-chan, it's time to wake up. Momo, 5 more minutes. Izuku, well, maybe I'll ask Mina out since my friend is staying over. Momo, I'm awake already. Izuku, he chuckled, good morning, sleepyhead. Momo, with a playful pout, go hang out with Mina. Izuku, gets out of bed, alright, I'll go check if she's up. Momo, hugs him from behind, silly, with a teasing smile. Izuku, gives her a friendly peck on the forehead, I was just kidding. Momo, holding onto his arm, please don't leave. Izuku, now gives her a friendly hug, you know I would never leave you, how about we go down for breakfast? Momo, blushing, okay. The two went down to the common room, but there was something different. They were holding hands. Maybe it wasn't strange for them, but it was for everyone who saw them, because the whole class was there, and when I say everyone, they were the only ones missing in the room. Everyone was surprised by what they saw, because to them, Midoriya was in love with Uraka and they thought Momo liked Todoroki. At first, that was the case, Or at least that's what Yaoyorozu thought, that she was in love with Todoroki, but that was because of the way he had helped her when they had to face Aizawa. It was certainly more admiration and respect than love. She discovered it herself, since the reserved attitude of the boy towards everyone didn't help her at all. On the other hand, the friendly and considerate attitude of the reserved boy in the class made her feel something, but she didn't understand what it was, because she rarely talked to the boy, beyond the training, because she also thought that Izuku and Uraka were in love with each other, and she was right, but thanks to Uraka's attitude after the provisional license exams, she and Izuku could get closer. Flashback. Izuku was training in the UA gym. He had been training intensely for almost 4 hours without stopping even to drink water. Momo had seen him training when he started, so she didn't pay much attention to it. It was just Midoriya training. The boy was always equally energetic when it came to training. After a while the girl returned to the gym because she had forgotten one of her notebooks. It had been almost 3 hours since she had left and Izuku was still training, in the same way as if he had just started. But there was something odd on the boy's face. He was crying. This caught Momo's attention and she stayed to watch to see if everything was okay with him. After 10 minutes of watching him, the boy stopped, holding his knees to catch his breath, only to collapse a few seconds later. Seeing this, Momo rushed to help him. He wasn't unconscious, he was exhausted, unable to move. He had let out all his frustration until he couldn't anymore. Momo helped him reach the gym bleachers so he could lie down and catch his breath. That was the first time they talked as friends. That's when he realized what was happening to him, why he was so depressed and crying. Izuku told her everything as if they were best friends chatting. Needless to say, Momo was a great help so that our hero wouldn't get depressed. She did everything she could to get close to him, making sure he did well in class, ate properly, trained, and avoided doing anything foolish like training until he collapsed or maybe worse. With that in mind, she avoided leaving him alone for too long. The only time she wasn't with him were when they went to sleep, and Todoroki and Kirishima helped with that to make sure he was okay. Thanks to her, he also knew what it was like to feel loved. He found a new group of friends, could get closer to all his classmates, and could talk to girls without blushing or getting nervous. The only one who made him feel that way was Yaoyorozu. So, after 3 months in which the guys were citizens of him, the boy finally could be himself, well, with a slight change. The shy boy had disappeared. Momo brought out the trait in him. The other more noticeable change was how he distanced himself from Ida and Uraka. The only ones who knew what had happened were Kirishima, Todoroki, and Yaoyorozu. At his request, he asked them not to say anything to avoid problems in class, although Momo's relationship with Uraka had cooled a bit because of how Uraka played with the boy. End of flashback. Mina, hey! What are you doing holding hands? She asked Izuku and Momo. Izuku, embarrassed, well, I don't know. Momo, blushing, remembered that they had clarified their feelings, beyond a few kisses. Toru, you're already boyfriend and girlfriend. Momo, not yet. Tsuyu, not yet? Then you will be soon. Ribbit. Izuku started to murmur, the only words that were understood were, kissed, date. Mina, so you're going to have a date. Izuku came out of his thoughts, yeah, I asked her out and she said yes. Toru, wait, I think I heard, we kissed. Momo looked away so they wouldn't notice her blush. Kaminari, now that I think about it, Midoriya didn't come to do. Jiru, poke him with one of her connectors. Kaminari, shouting, why did you do that? Jiru, because you're an idiot who can't keep your mouth shut. Kaminari, for a moment he thought about what he was going to say. Midoriya, what time did you get to your room last night? Izuku, scratching his head from behind, well, I didn't sleep in my room. Ida, Midoriya-kun, you know you can't be out of the school without informing. Izuku, well, I wasn't out of the school, I just slept somewhere else. Jiru, didn't think her friend was so stupid as to let him sleep in her room, and where did you sleep if I may ask?
Izuku, save me Superman, well, I slept in.
Momo, finally calmed down, he fell asleep reading a book with me, so I made him a futon to sleep on the floor. Izuku, what worried him most was a scolding from Ida, which he would surely tell Aizawa. Ida, very well, if it's as Yaoyorozu-san says, there's no problem, just avoid being a nuisance to her. Jiru, come on, Ida, Midoriya will never be a nuisance to Momo, covers her mouth with a tape she created, maybe not him, but you are, no wonder you get along so well with Kaminari. Jiru, uncover her mouth, damn. One of these days, seriously, you're going to kill me. The kids avoided the interrogation. Surprisingly, Ida wasn't angry, Thanks to Momo being the vice president, and he knew, well, at least he thought his friend wouldn't be swayed by such a situation. The kids went to have a light breakfast. Midoriya reminded Momo of what they would do that afternoon, 7W7, those suspicious minds. Izuku, Momo-chan. Everyone, hey. Momo-chan. Mina, since when are you guys so close? Izuku, I don't know, maybe after the provisional licenses, I guess. Uraka, less than /3. Momo, what's up, Izuku? Everyone, Izuku. Momo, guys, for goodness sake, get over it. A dark aura emanated from her, so everyone decided to leave the dining room. Izuku whispered to her, remember you have plans, or should I ask Mina to go out with me? Momo, blushing, Mina, UA's biggest gossip, heard everything, ran and hugged Izuku, so, Midoriya, what time is our get-together? Gave him a friendly pat on the shoulder. Momo, firmly, Mina. He has plans with me. Freed him from the hug and gave him a friendly peck on the cheek. Mina, boo. She covered her mouth just like Jiru. Momo, if you tell anyone, forget about me helping you study. Maybe Aizawa's remedial classes will change your mind. Mina, MHMHMHMHMHMHM, she made an okay sign with her hand. Momo, very well, that's what I thought. Mina, uncovered her mouth, will you help me study? With puppy eyes. Momo, as long as you keep your promise, I don't want the guys to cause another ruckus. Mina hurried out of there to avoid Momo's disapproving look. While her urge to share with someone was huge, when it came to studying, there was no one better than Momo to help you. Even with Momo's help, Mina easily passed her exams, which was an achievement, so she decided it was best to keep quiet for the sake of her future. Time skip 2 p.m., dorm common room class 2A. We can see a well-groomed young hero, waiting for his outing so they could leave, as the guys had already started teasing him. Even Mina had joined the guys to tease him until Izuku used his wit, 7W7. Izuku, Ashido-san. Mina, yes, smiling. Izuku, do you think Momo-chan will help you study if I tell her they were bothering me with her? Mina, start sweating, shut up, idiots, stop bothering him. If Yaoyorozu doesn't help me study, I'll sort you all out with my skills. The four troublemakers ran out of there, just with the idea of facing Mina's skills. It terrified them, as they remembered that with a couple of drops of her skills, Aoyama's belt had dissolved without any problem. Who were these four, you might wonder? They were Mineta, Kaminari, Kirishima, and Sero. Momo watched with a smile as Izuku stood up for Mina. She found it admirable that he didn't mind calling her Momo-chan in front of others, although she later saw something that certainly bothered her. Uraka, Deku-kun, can we talk for a moment? Izuku, letting out a big sigh, of course, what's up? Uraka, could it be in private? Izuku, thought for a moment, he couldn't refuse, he needed someone to save him, sure. Momo, Izuku, I'm ready to go. Izuku, Momo-chan, sorry Uraka-san, but I can't keep her waiting, we'll leave it for another time. Uraka, sad, okay, have fun. Momo and Izuku left UA's dorms, but they were holding hands. They didn't care if anyone saw them, they didn't have to explain anything to anyone, and if any of their friends asked, they'd come up with something. Momo watched with a smile as Izuku playfully teased Mina. She found it sweet that he didn't mind calling her Momo-chan in front of others, but then she noticed something that truly bothered her. Uraka, Deku-kun, can we talk for a moment? Izuku, letting out a big sigh, sure, what's up? Uraka, it could be in private. Izuku, he thought for a moment, he couldn't refuse, he needed someone to save him, yay. Momo, Izuku, I'm ready to go. Izuku, Momo-chan, sorry Uraka-san, but I can't keep her waiting, we'll leave it for another time. Uraka, sadly, okay, have fun. Momo and Izuku left the UA dormitories holding hands. They didn't mind if anyone saw them, as they didn't owe anyone an explanation. If any of their friends asked, they'd come up with something. Current chapter. Momo and Izuku walked hand in hand, heading towards the train station. Although our hero hadn't planned a date per se, he started to get nervous, and needless to say, Yaoyorozu noticed this and decided to ask what was wrong. Momo, Izuku, what's wrong? Izuku, I really didn't have anything planned for the date. Momo, she thinks for a moment, I know, why don't we go to the movies? There's a film I'd like to see, and it'd be even better if it's with you. Izuku, okay, what movie is it? Momo, it's called Ko no Katachi. Izuku, really, it's out already? I wanted to see it, but I would have felt silly going alone. Momo, do you really want to see it? Izuku, yes, it's based on a manga series I read. Momo, I read them too. I didn't know you like those kinds of stories. Izuku, embarrassed, well, it's kind of rare for a guy to read those kinds of stories. Momo, she kisses him on the cheek. Izuku, blushing, why did you do that? Momo, smiling, I don't know. They were already on the train that would take them close to the shopping plaza where they would see the movie. The cinema was near the bookstore where Izuku bought Momo's gift, so it seemed like a good idea to stop by to say hi to someone. Izuku, well, the movie starts in 1 hour, would you like to go in there? Points to the bookstore. Momo, yes, let's go. She takes Izuku's hand and practically drags him in. Momo was impressed by how unexpected the bookstore was. There were 3 floors of shelves, all filled with books. For a literature lover like her, it was the closest thing to paradise. Momo, wow, it's amazing. I've never seen such a big bookstore. Izuku, laughs, that's exactly what I said when I first saw it. Someone who hadn't been seen by either of our 2 heroes approached them from behind, to embrace Izuku and cover his eyes. Guess who I am? Izuku, Momo, is that you? So, Momo, and who's Momo? Izuku, Akemi? Akemi, gives him a big hug, hi, Izuku. A young raven-haired girl was paralyzed at the sight, since when was someone so close to Izuku, she wondered. Could she be a friend or something more? The girl was getting jealous. Izuku, Akemi-chan, lifts her in the air with a hug. Akemi, pouts, Izuku, I'm not a kid anymore for you to do that. Izuku, you're still a kid to me. Ruffles her hair with his hand. Momo, jealous, Izuku, who is she? Izuku, hi, it's Akemi-chan. Momo, Akemi-chan, they were so close they called each other by their names, she felt jealous. Akemi, nice to meet you, Akemi Midoriya. Momo, Midoriya? Izuku, yeah, Akemi is my cousin. Momo, I thought you and she, I mean you too. Akemi, blushing, no nothing like that, he's just my cousin. Izuku, still hugging Akemi, Momo-chan, are you Jill? Momo, yes. Izuku, let's go of Akemi, hugs Momo from behind 7W7, come on, remember what I told you this morning. Momo, do you promise? Izuku, have I ever lied? Momo, kisses him on the lips. Akemi, saw everything and was in shock. Izuku, she's your. Momo, well, not yet but, started to get nervous. Izuku, kisses her on the cheek, well, I haven't asked her yet. Momo, blushing at what Izuku said. Akemi, now that I remember Izuku, who was the book for? Momo, the book? Izuku, the book I gave you. Momo, the book. Don't tell me she helped you get it. Izuku, yes, thanks to her we got it. Momo, hugs Akemi, Akemi-san, thank you so much, I cried with happiness when I saw the book. Akemi, embarrassed, well, I didn't do anything, we just received it. Izuku was the one who got it. Momo, now hugs Midoriya, thank you so much. Izuku, I told you, you don't have to thank me. They talked for a while longer with Akemi. Momo really liked her, as they shared the same taste in books, which is why Izuku got along with her so well. Momo, your cousin is very nice, I liked her a lot, I would like her to come to the academy another time to talk. Izuku, well, we'll have to ask her, but I have no doubt she'll accept, but also, well she. Momo, what's up? Izuku, well, she's not my cousin. Momo, what do you mean? Izuku, she's the daughter of a friend of my mom's, and I've known her for a long time, so it's like she's my sister, but since she started calling my mom auntie, that's why we say we're cousins. Momo, but the last name, her last name is the same. Izuku, well, that's a big coincidence. Momo, do you like her? Izuku, how can you ask that, you know I don't, I wouldn't play with your feelings, gives her a big hug. Momo, kisses him on the cheek. After that, they went to see the movie, and they only watched the movie, as it was a movie based on one of their favorite books they had in common. They both were more than focused and paying attention to the movie, though they held hands the whole time and Momo had her head leaning on Midoriya's shoulder. They left the cinema around 5 p.m. so Izuku thought Momo might be tired or something. Izuku, Momo, do you want to do something else? Or do you want to go back to the academy? Momo, it's still too early. And if we go back, everyone will be waiting to ask us questions. Izuku, I think you're right. Would you like to go to the amusement park nearby? Momo, excited, really? I've never been to one. My parents never took me because they said it was a waste of time. Izuku, in that case, holds her hand, let's go. I know you'll love it. Izuku and Momo left the shopping center they were in and walked for about 10 or 15 minutes until they reached a huge amusement park in the city center. The entire park was themed around superheroes. Izuku was thrilled, and Momo was excited because it would be her first time going to one. Izuku paid for the tickets like a gentleman. The first thing they did upon entering was take a photo, something Momo asked for as a keepsake of their first date and her first time at an amusement park. Then they headed to the carousel, where they both shared a horse, much to the girl's delight. She felt protected by her prince. Next, they went to the bumper cars, where there was laughter and fun. They came out a bit dizzy from all the bumps they received. After that, they went to the haunted house. Although it wasn't very scary, the sound of thunder scared Momo enough. She clung to Izuku, afraid of getting lost and not being able to get out. After a long walk, they sat down at a restaurant inside the amusement park. They both ordered a cold drink and a slice of pizza to recharge before continuing their tour. Now it was time to ride the roller coaster, which turned out to be a big mistake for our young hero. With all the twists and turns, his stomach churned, and he almost vomited but held on as much as he could. They had to sit on a bench so Izuku could rest his head on Momo's lap. After recovering from their roller coaster ride, they went to the play area. Here, Momo was excited because she wanted to win a prize for herself. She seemed like a little girl on her first visit to an amusement park, even though she wasn't a little girl anymore. This was her first visit to one. Izuku, like a gentleman, played at an air gun booth, where the grand prize was a plush green rabbit. Momo was impressed because she thought it looked like Izuku in his hero costume, so she had no choice but to try to win it for herself. After a few rounds, our hero won the grand prize and, like a gentleman, gave it to his date. As a reward, he received a big kiss on the cheek, which made him blush. It was getting dark, and there was only one attraction left to visit, the Ferris wheel, an immense one. It was simply beautiful. The kids waited in line for about 15 minutes to get on. As they entered the cabin and started to rise, they were sitting side by side, holding hands. After a few minutes, they were at the top, and the wheel stopped. They were at the highest point, able to appreciate the park in all its splendor. Then, a magical fireworks display began, and everything was perfect. They just held hands and shared a kiss filled with love. After a while on the Ferris wheel, they got off. Now they were ready to go back to the academy, holding hands, walking towards the train station, when an explosion was heard not far from where they were. So, they decided to go see what was happening. It was a villain, but not just any villain. There in front of them was Spinner, one of the allies of the League of Villains. Izuku decided to act quickly because he knew the danger the civilians were in, with a villain like that nearby. Izuku, Momo, please stay here. I have to stop him. Momo, I can help too. Izuku, I wouldn't forgive myself if anything happened to you. Momo, let me help you. Izuku, promise me that if something goes wrong, you'll stay safe. Momo, okay. Izuku quietly approached Spinner and when he was at an optimal range, he attacked with Delaware Smash. The impact hit hard, but Spinner managed to shield himself with his dagger sword. Spinner, you brat, what are you doing here? Izuku, I came to stop you. Spinner, look, what do we have here, a pretty girl. Momo, I'm not afraid of you, idiot. Izuku, Momo, be careful, remember what I told you. Momo, yes. It was a tough battle. Spinner endured all of Izuku's attacks with his sword, while Momo stayed on the sidelines trying to blind Spinner with flash grenades she was making herself. At one point, screams were heard from the building where the explosion was heard, startling Izuku and Momo. Izuku, Momo, you have to try to evacuate the civilians. We can't wait for help to arrive, there's still time to do something. Momo, okay. She runs towards the burning building. Spinner, where do you think you're going? Just as he was about to reach her with his blade, Izuku hit him with a Manchester smash, causing him to step back. With the same gust of air he generated, he managed to create a gap in the flames for Momo to help the civilians get out. Due to the impact, Spinner's blade had snapped in half, leaving him defenseless against Izuku's attacks. While Momo helped evacuate the civilians, The professional heroes had already arrived at the scene. Since Izuku and Momo had their licenses, they could take charge of the situation, and since they reacted intelligently, their actions should be acknowledged. Spinner was holding on as much as he could, but it was impossible for him to continue. He only had a small dagger, and Izuku was at his 20%. Momo had finished evacuating the civilians. Thanks to the arrival of the professionals, there were no losses to mourn. Momo joined Izuku to finish off Spinner. In a desperate attempt, Spinner threw his dagger at Momo. She tried to shield herself, but she had used all her energy in rescuing the injured. In a desperate attempt, Izuku ran to Momo, embracing her, but he took the full impact of the dagger in the back, causing a wound. Before collapsing, he stood up with the last of his strength and used his Manchester Smash, which hit Spinner squarely in the stomach, rendering him unconscious. Alone, Izuku passed out from blood loss, and a very scared Momo ran to him to see what was happening. It was evident from her face that the boy was not well, as Momo cried uncontrollably.